football now, and completely appropriate that the final catch of Michael Irvin's NFL career was an 8-yard slant over the middle. For all his flashy catches, clothes, and jewelry, on the field, Michael Irvin was first and foremost a worker. He made his living, his name, and his case for the Hall of Fame, going where many receivers shy away from, the teeth of the defense over the middle. Of course, Irvin never shied away from anything on or off the field. Ed Werder was in Dallas for the retirement announcement of one of the Cowboys' vaunted triplets. Hello, Ed.
Hello, Trey. You know, it was a triumphant career and a tumultuous career here for Michael Irvin, and he agonized over ending it. It was caused, his retirement, by the injury, the neck injury he suffered in Philadelphia last season, and the discovery that he'd played his whole career with cervical stenosis, a dangerous narrowing of the spinal column. Although doctors, 3 of them, recommended immediately that Irvin retire, he said it was months later his wife who convinced him. In fact, Michael said if he didn't have family responsibilities and the decision had been his alone, he would have taken the risk and continued trying to play again this year. As it was, Tuesday was a day of conflicting emotions for Irvin. He says he was reluctant to leave the game, but grateful that literally he could walk away.
I had some great moments here in Dallas, man. We did some great things. We accomplished some great things on the field. We shared some great times. And I've shared some not so great times. And I want to say to everybody here in Dallas that there was not one time in my life that I ever thought about playing football for anybody else outside of Dallas Cowboys. Anybody that loves playing the game like I love playing the game want to play forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the reality. It's not the reality. And my reality slapped me pretty good. Walking away from the game is hard. Now playing the game is hard, but walking away from the game is a blessing. And I got to take that blessing, and I got to take it now.
Well, it's reflective of how important Michael Irvin's leadership was to this team that his press conference today was attended by Deion Sanders, who's recently signed with the Redskins, Larry Allen, Eric Williams, DARYL Johnston. Both Troy Aikman and EMMITT Smith were on vacations and unavailable to attend. But 2 weeks ago, Trey, Michael Irvin said he had dinner with Troy Aikman, and he told Troy, the only thing I ever wanted you to say is that I was the best receiver you ever threw to, and Aikman promised him that would be the case.
Well, Ed, I think the Cowboys think they may have patched up what they missed on the field from Irvin with the signing of Joey Galloway, but what about the emotional leadership that he gave that team? He was really their spark plug.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Troy Aikman who demands perfection and precision practices and great preparation, and EMMITT Smith always did all the tough things during a game, the third downs, getting the short yardage. But it was Michael Irvin who was the emotional leader of this team. He was the one who gave them that bold arrogance that they demonstrated when they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. And he was an overachiever, a guy who simply would never be outworked. He had a pair of practice pants that weighed 15 extra pounds. He had weight sewn into them. And after practice, he'd go out and catch routes with a backup quarterback wearing those. That says something about the kind of commitment Michael Irvin believed in football.
No question. He said himself, nobody enjoyed being a Cowboy better than Michael Irvin. Ed Werder, live in Dallas. Thanks very much.
You bet.
Well, before the injury that effectively ended his career, Irvin had led the Cowboys in both receptions and yards for 8 straight seasons. Only 2 players in NFL history had longer streaks, Steve Largent in Seattle and the legendary Don Hutson in Green Bay. Larry.
Johnston, get it done.
That was just to refresh your memory a bit. Not that you needed it. Love him or hate him, you know you respected him for what he could do on a football field. Say what you want, but Michael Irvin made big plays. Irvin didn't let you forget that either, especially if you were the defender he beat. Michael Irvin was a leader, passionate about the game and his teammates. Ed Werder looks back on the career of the man they call the playmaker.
From the beginning, he was the Cowboy everybody wanted to be. Opponents admired his athletic brilliance. Teammates envied his bold arrogance. And in the end, nobody loved being a Cowboy more than Michael Irvin.
I remember the first time I stepped off the airplane coming from Fort Lauderdale, you know, and the first guy to interview me was Drew Pearson. And Drew asked me a question. He said, Michael, do you know who's all-time leading receiver in Cowboy history? And I didn't really know it was Drew, but I remember my reply was, I don't think I know, but I know who it better be in about 7-8 years.
Irvin was never intimidated by high expectations. At the University of Miami, he made the biggest plays and laughed the loudest as the Hurricanes won a national championship under Jimmy Johnson. Tex Schramm made him the last first-round draft choice of the Tom Landry era. And his personality was part of the equation.
The guy has all the qualities, you know, the receiver. He's a big receiver. You know, he's 6'2", 190 pounds, and he can run 4.5, and that's really moving for a wide receiver. And he can catch all types of passes. He really doesn't have too many weaknesses at all.
The Cowboys had suffered consecutive losing seasons. They were plunging right past mediocrity toward abject failure. Drafting Irvin 11th overall, Schramm explains, he accelerates our return to the living. The Cowboys returned to prominence only after drafting a receiver better than Drew Pearson, a quarterback better than Roger Staubach, and a running back better than Tony Dorsett in consecutive years. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith joined Irvin to become perhaps the greatest quarterback, receiver, running back combination in league history. The Cowboys compiled a remarkable 83-38 record in games all three started. They became the first team to win 3 Super Bowl titles in a 4-year span. They shared a unique bond. They never started winning until they were all together.
I think that whenever we've been challenged or whenever the criticism has come our way from whatever area it's come from, I think we've all hung together because we've all believed in one another.
I've often said, you know, once you leave the game, I don't know if it's the game that you're going to miss more so than camaraderie and just the togetherness that you get with the players and your teammates.
When I first got here, Michael was more so like a mentor to me. I always admired him in terms of his work ethic, in terms of, you know, how he approaches the game. And, you know, he's a very knowledgeable person. And, you know, for a young guy like myself coming in, he was perfect for me.
Irvin would prove to be far less than perfect, but he provided the Cowboys something important beyond his Super Bowl touchdown.
He was the key to igniting our football team from an emotional standpoint. He was the guy that got the crowd going, that got the team going, and then you would see kind of a domino effect.
Aikman made the big plays. Smith did the hard work. But Irvin gave the team its arrogance. He demanded the ball. He told defensive backs they should pay him for the football clinic he provided them. Always theatrical, he threw a fit when Jimmy Johnson was replaced in 1994 after winning back-to-back Super Bowls.
I think I'm playing with all this stuff. Hey, gas back.
Irvin's problems came when he couldn't control certain urges any more than he could contain his emotions. Most will remember Irvin for the team record 750 passes he caught. But he cannot be separated from the one time he was caught by the police in the presence of illegal drugs and convenient women. The poor judgment continued when he wore sunglasses and a fur coat to court. Irvin was suspended for the first 5 games of the 1996 season after he pleaded no contest to felony cocaine possession.
I am sorry for taking everybody through it. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. I was wrong. I was wrong.
He never made it back to the Super Bowl or appeared in another Pro Bowl after that. He refused a contract extension and went to training camp in 1999 without having a roster spot assured.
If my time is up, man, I leave the game. I sit down, I do some thinking in my chair, I get on my knees and I pray and I say, thank you. This has been wonderful. It has been greater than I can expect. Greater than a whole lot of people expect me coming out. It was greater than anything. I say, thank you. I stand back up and I grab my remote control and I start getting fat. You know what I'm saying? I start getting fat, man, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Just 8 weeks later, on October 10th, Irvin, who had never suffered a failure of nerve, lay on the cold turf in Philadelphia. Fear was the only thing he felt. The injury led to the unexpected discovery that Irvin had played his entire career with cervical stenosis, a dangerous narrowing of the spinal column. His final play was appropriate enough, a slant across the middle, the kind of play that was never the fearless endeavor he always made it seem.
Being brave is not being afraid. Being brave is being able to overcome your fears during this time. You know what I mean? Well, everybody's afraid. It's just some of us can overcome our fears, and that's the big thing.
Thanks, guys. Last fall, the week that Cowboy wideout Michael Irvin was going to join us on Sunday NFL Countdown, our whole crew, Berman, T.J. Sterling, Jim Kelly, Mort, and myself, we all knew we'd have to rock our best suit, our flashiest suit, to even compete with what the playmaker was going to rock. We also pretty much figured what would be made official on Tuesday. The spinal injury that ended Irvin's season last year now forces his retirement. One of the best pair of hands in the league and one of the best mouths ever has to call it quits. Irvin's got 3 Super Bowl rings and exactly 750 catches. His injury coming on his 750th. Yes, he was brash, he was bold, but he stood up for his teammates with a passion few of them had ever seen before. 12 years tour of duty in the league. Those 750 grabs ties for 10th all-time with Charlie Joyner. Irvin's 87 catches in the playoff, second only to Jerry Rice. His 11,904 receiving yards, 9th all-time. 47 regular season 100-yard games, 3rd all-time. And in 95, Playmaker had 11 100-yard games in one season. Still a record.
After 12 years in the league, some of them controversial for off-the-field activities. He caught 750 passes, but on that 750th last October, he injured his spinal cord, suffered temporary paralysis. Doctors warned him of permanent damage if he kept playing.
I like to think of myself as a warrior. You know, I wanted to be dragged off the field. As a matter of fact, I was dragged off the field. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Anybody that love playing the game like I love playing the game, want to play forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the reality.